In the webinar that you are about to watch, myself and one of our onboarding managers, Jenny Leibel, talk all about team adoption. We know it's exciting to bring video into your team, but actually getting them to use and adopt and be successful with video is a whole other challenge. So we talk about some of the common pitfalls and then really give you some specific strategies on how to work through that. Enjoy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to give it a few minutes just to let more people pour in. Some people are early, like all of you, and some people show up a few minutes late. So while we do that, just to make sure we're using the usage of this time really quick, let me do some of the housekeeping things, just the general questions that we know we're going to get. One, is this recorded? Yes, I just hit the record button a little while ago. So we will definitely have this recording for you. We will send you a follow-up email with all of this stuff. So if you've got to jump early, if you miss a part, if we skip over something faster than you want and you need to review it, we'll give you that recording. I'll also send you the slide deck as a PDF, so you can use that as a resource for you and your team as well. So just know that we will send you those resources after. We've got an hour scheduled. If we get done early, we'll take off early. We're going to leave some time for Q&A. So if you've got some questions, please, please, please do not hesitate to throw those in. We've got two avenues in Zoom. Most of us are familiar with them at this point, but chat is one, Q&A is the other. So hop into chat right now and just throw where you're from. I would love to hear kind of where you're located at. A lot of times we'll talk about like whatever the weather is right now, but throw whatever you want and just let us know what city you're coming from, just because it's really fun to see. We get people internationally. We get people from the States. I'm in Colorado. Jenny, you're in Texas. Is that right?
I am in Texas.
Okay, so see, we're kind of all over. We've already got Toronto, we've got Florida, we've got Michigan, we've got all over the place. So let us know where you're at. We're glad to hear. Chat's a great place to learn from kind of the community of BombBomb too. So if you've got questions that you're just curious what other people are doing, throw it in chat. I promise you this will be really fun to learn from them. And I'll encourage you guys to keep throwing stuff in there. Q&A is really good. I've got the amazing Justin Graves. He's one of our tier 2 support reps here at BombBomb who works with people just like you. He works with our teams, whether it's enterprise level, whether it's 5-10 seats here at BombBomb, it doesn't matter. He's the guy that really helps you support that. So we've got him here to make sure that we're getting your specific team questions answered so that we can help through that. So I think those are the main things. Jenny, welcome. I'm so excited for all of you to introduce Jenny Leibel. She is one of our onboarding managers here at BombBomb. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's no better person to bring on than somebody who's working with teams on adoption all day, every day. Jenny, why don't you just give us a little bit about kind of who you are, what you're doing here at BombBomb, whatever you want to talk about. Just give us a quick intro.
Of course. Well, thank you so much. I love joining the best of the best. Uh, Kevin said I'm a customer onboarding manager here at BombBomb, and I thrive on connecting with people and just talking to people, listening to people, and just really making those connections. So I get so excited bringing our teams together and just sharing BombBomb and just sharing that added value and how it can make a difference in your business. So thank you for having me. I love joining you.
Well, thanks for being here. I'm not kidding. Jenny lives in this space, this onboarding adoption space, which honestly can be really challenging, right? That's why all of us are here, is because this is not a linear, straightforward, great, here's this new thing, use it. That doesn't guarantee everything, right? That doesn't guarantee that people are going to do exactly what we want them to do all the time. So having her here for that, I think is going to be really, really awesome. And so I just want to make sure that we bring in the experts. We've got the tech support. We've got the right people to kind of talk you through these pieces so that you guys can all learn as we're working through this. So what are we talking about today? How are we going to do this? Jenny, are you seeing the right screen? Or are you seeing the agenda pop up for you?
I
Okay.
sure am.
I always like to make sure. Sometimes we share the wrong screen when we got enough things going on. So you're going to see this agenda is pretty straightforward. I don't think there's going to be anything super shocking for you here. One, what are the common pitfalls of adoption? I think it's always really important for us, especially as leaders, whether you're more of a technical admin or you're leading a team, to understand why is this not working? What are the common things that are not working? So we know what we need to do to help improve that, right? Help fix those things. And then from that, we're going to transition over to the 4 best strategies to get your team excited. Now, these are big strategies. So you'll see there's a lot of like mini strategies within these big themes and within these big groups. So no matter where you are in the process, no matter how eager your team is, how not eager your team is, That's okay. There's gonna be something in here that you can implement. And then, like I said, we're gonna leave some time for Q&A there. Now, one thing before we jump into this, that I do always want to let people know. My goal of this webinar is not for you to walk away with 55 different new ideas of things you can implement. I really want you to keep your business, your team, your personalities, the things that I may not know in perspective right now and go, man, I want to leave this with one or two things that I can start implementing today because I want this to be actionable for you. I want this to be something that you can really walk away with and go, man, I'm so glad I got that tidbit. If you leave with one thing that inspires you and helps your team, great, done. My job is done. We've done our work here today. Don't put pressure on yourself that you need to take a ton of things away from this. So, just wanted to throw that out there, sort of give you a little bit of the permission to, just not feel overwhelmed, not feel like there's a million things you got to digest, but we're going to have a few things here and there. So, let's go ahead and jump into this, some of these common pitfalls. Now, while we do this, I would love for you all to throw in chat. What do you think some of the biggest things you're struggling with getting your team to adopt video are? Right? You can go as deep with that. You can go as complex with that. But I would love to kind of get a pulse on what you think are some of the big things that are either holding you personally back or holding your team members back. Just because I'm curious as we dive into this, how much is going to relate. So throw some of that in chat here. Oh, we've already got a couple of things. Editing. That's a really interesting one. So that's great. And I think we can kind of go in a little bit more maybe into the underbelly of why editing feels like an important thing. We're not necessarily going to go over the technical aspects of the editing features here at BombBomb, but I love that. Thank you for that feedback. This is also really good. Just side note for you all. We want to start hosting these quarterly throughout the year, specific to teams, specific to helping you guys out. If we're seeing themes of stuff, this is going to give us new ideas of things we can cover down the line to make sure we help you out. So keep throwing stuff in there. We got a couple answers, but throw some more in. If there's things that you think are specific to your team, throw them in there so we can make sure that we touch base on those. I found this quote. Henry Ford, obviously we all know him. I didn't even need to put who he was. I was like, you're famous when you just need to hear the name and people already know who you are. But this quote is the only thing worse than training your employees and having them leave is not training them and having them stay. And I just thought, man, that's a really interesting place to start. We don't want people that are not using the things that we're providing. From a financial standpoint, that's not beneficial. From a usage standpoint, it's not beneficial. From a success standpoint, they're not going to see the most success if they're not doing the things we need them to do. So that's why I think this is such an important thing. And hats off, round of applause to you for coming here so that we can start fixing some of these things. All right, first, number one thing. Clear pitfall of why adoption is not happening. Your people do not have a clear why. Why am I doing this? Now, I want you all to know, I know we have a lot of sales teams and sales leaders that are probably in this webinar today. I worked on a sales team for years here at BombBomb, for 3 years. So I want you to know when I was thinking through this, I put my salesperson hat on and went like, why did I not adopt certain things? Why did I not move forward with some of the things? But here's some of the main things. And I think this is item number one. If this is not defined, people don't care, especially salespeople. I'm just going to do what feels comfortable. I'm going to do what makes sense. I'm going to do what I know works. People are really going to resist change if they don't understand why that change is important or why it's necessary. And I think that's a really important thing. Jenny, maybe this is a moment for you to expand a little bit as well. Talking with team members, is this something you find a lot that teams go, yes, we're excited about video, but then we dive deeper and go, oh, maybe they're not quite sure about the why or they don't know how to convey the why really effectively to their team?
Yes, definitely. And I think that's why it's very important just to really set those expectations on setting your team up for success from the very beginning so that we can, overcome those obstacles from the get-go.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think it's important too, because sometimes the reason your team doesn't know the why is because the leadership doesn't know the why.
Yes.
And if the leadership doesn't know the why, we really don't know what we're trying to solve.
Yes.
And I think we saw this a lot in COVID, where people were going, oh, shoot, we're not in front of people. We can't be with people. We need resources to do that. So they would just sign up for video and then didn't have those goals. They didn't know kind of what they were driving to. So it's really important for you as an admin, as a leader, to understand why are we doing this? And we need to set that up and be able to relay that because we need to understand, be there. These employees did not make this choice. They did not make the buy. It's one of the big differences from kind of the like B2B sale versus the B2C, where I was working and selling to real estate agents and mortgage lenders. When you are kind of a solo entrepreneur and you're buying it for yourself, you're invested. It's your money. Well, these teams, it's not, right? They did not make these choices. So we need to understand the why, and we can't expect our team to know why if you guys are choosing the product, if you guys don't know that why. So that's number one. If you don't know why you want your team to use video, boom, stop right there. I mean, stay on the webinar, don't leave, but use this, write that down on a note. This is so important and honestly is a huge differentiator from the get-go, like Jenny said, on success or not success and struggle and fight, right? So let's look at that. Let's work through that right there. Number two, which honestly goes somewhat in with what we were talking about, but no clear buy-in from the top. Now, when I say the top, that could be a lot of different levels of things. But I'm going to take this all the way up. Your senior leadership team for your company needs to understand why this new product has been purchased, and we need them to understand, especially if we're talking a sales team, they have to have buy-in. In fact, we recently hired a new VP of sales, Matt, who's amazing. But implementing video into the sales process is a new muscle. And there is absolutely a kind of fallback for a lot of sales teams of activities and dials. We're tracking activities, we're tracking dials. Those are the things that work. 100%. I'm not saying we're not going to do those and that those are not metrics. However, if we are asking people to do video, video is going to slow down the activities a little bit. It's a new thing, it's a new muscle. It might take your people a little longer to record a video than to type an email because they're not used to it right away. So if we're not getting that buy-in from the VP, from the manager of the sales team, from the senior level team, all those C's, right? The CEO, the CS, whatever it is, they're not going to have the reason to really go, I got to lean into this because nobody's holding me accountable to that. How do you think, if you were to throw a percentage on this, Jenny, and it's just a kind of a little bit of a guess, how many of the teams that come into BombBomb do you feel like have that senior level buy-in?
Oh, goodness. I would say probably 80, 90%. It's
Oh,
pretty high.
good. Okay.
High.
So that's been a pretty good one. Awesome.
Pretty
Have
high.
you noticed that that makes a big difference with the teams that really jump on and run with it versus the teams that are slower to get going?
It makes a huge difference. And I always try to communicate when the admins and leadership team invest, they are showing the importance and the confidence in this investment for the company as a whole. So that investment is really important for the rest of your team to achieve that
Yep.
successful adoption.
So you've got to understand the why. You've got to get the buy-in from the top level people, and then you've got to make this rollout simple. I think this is something that happens a lot, and I've been guilty of this as I've bought products and things. So I'm not saying we're not going through these things and struggling through these as well. It is so fun to see all the shiny, great new things for a new product, and then be like, "Cool, we're gonna do it all." Guess what? When you do it all, nothing happens. So that's part of why I was talking to you earlier about focus on a few things from this webinar. Don't try to adopt it all. But we see people time and time again that come in and we're like, we want all of our team to use all these features. We want them to implement it with all of the new systems that we have, and we want them to do it with these 10 different use cases. Well, now your team is really overwhelmed and doesn't know how to pinpoint. It's kind of like the onion metaphor. We all know the onion, the layers. We've heard that a million times. But we need to start with the core of the onion. We need to start with the most important things. And then rather than peeling layers away, we're going to add the layers on as we get more comfortable with this. So we're going to give you some ideas and clues on how you can do this and how you can focus this and build up on it. But be very, very aware and understand that when your team comes in and they need to learn a million new things, they go back to what they're comfortable with. When it's really focused of these few use cases, you're going to do this, that feels doable. That feels adoptable when you're jumping into that. Training and support. Now, obviously, Jenny, this I would love to hear your perspective because this is what you do from BombBomb's side. How important do you think it is that there is internal training and support with the team itself, where it's not just Jenny from BombBomb can come in and train? How important is that? How have you seen that really affect this adoption process?
Very effective. And I always encourage everyone, once the training is done, to just get into the product and start recording. Practice, practice, practice. I can't say it enough. It is so important because once you start using it, the more comfortable you will get and the more value you're going to add to your everyday business. So
Yeah.
Very
So
important.
we need to make sure that we're there not only from a moral support standpoint, from an encouragement standpoint, but
Yes.
there's technical stuff, right? There are technical things that they're going to have to learn and they're going to have to work through. It's new. And there's also a big one that we're going to talk about later. Not everybody's going to want to be on video. It's not
Yeah.
like a CRM where it's like, yeah, we got to change processes. There are some deeper things that people feel uncomfortable on video. So we're going to give you some tools. Stick around and we'll talk about those as we go in. This is a really good one that I hadn't thought about as much until we started diving into this webinar I was researching. You have to pay attention to the feedback you're getting from your team. If we ignore that, we're really missing an opportunity to understand what they need in order to adopt it the way that we want, right? So you're forcing a team to do something, but when we don't listen to that, it creates resentment. I found this quote that I thought was just pertinent in so many different ways, but those closest to the problem are usually the ones that are closest to the solution. So if we're sitting here going, okay, we've got our metrics, we know our why, we want our team to do this and achieve this, and they go out and do that, and they come back and say, this isn't working, and we look at them and go, just keep doing it. Guess who's not going to be happy in the long run? None of us. Your team's going to be mad that they're forced to do something that's not working. You're not going to see the results that you want. You're not going to continue to have the buy-in up top because it's not. You've got to be able to morph that and adapt with those sort of things. So you've always got to have that space to listen to your team and get their feedback in here. Sometimes it's going to be, well, I don't feel comfortable doing this. Cool. We're going to push through that together, right? That doesn't mean you adjust everything because of every piece of feedback. You guys know that. You manage teams. But there always needs to be space to hear that. If they don't do that, then they're not going to give you feedback and they're just going to stop using it. And these are the things that we don't want to fall in. Have you seen that with some of your teams, Jenny? Like the
Yeah.
that the team won't listen, the admin doesn't listen, and the usage just stops at some point?
Yes. And I have actually run into this a few times, and I always say there's never a stupid question.
Mm,
There's never a stupid ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I have run into that. Some people, they're like, well, I thought that was a stupid question. There's never a stupid question. I let people know I'm always here to help. I'm always a video away, as well as your admin team.
mm,
And we have so many resources here at BombBomb. I don't want people to feel that they cannot reach out if there's ever a stuck.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, we don't want people to struggle in silence. And that's from a bomb perspective, right? To your point, Jenny, we want to be here to support you. But internally with your own team managers, you want to have an atmosphere where they can ask questions. Now, I get it. There's a point as a manager where you go, dude, you've asked me this question 5 times. Like at some point, you got to take initiative and do it. So there's always a balance with these things. But you want to make sure that you create an environment where they can give you the feedback and you can learn from it because there's a lot to learn as you're adopting anything new. This is a good one. This is an expectations one that I just always like to set in general, but especially with teams. One, you're not going to get immediate adoption. Now, one, you can see here in my bullet points, you may never get 100% adoption. If you've got 50 seats on your team, getting 50 people that are actively using recording videos on a weekly basis, that would be incredible, right? We'll just be real about this. You're not always going to get everybody to dive into everything that you need. And that's universally true. That's not just video. But really don't expect 100% adoption right away. This is something that you have to build up. Jenny mentioned practicing. We're going to talk about that as we keep working through this. Just build your expectations. And if you're reporting to higher up leaders that have buy-in and you're all in on this, build that understanding that you know what, this is going to take time. We're building a new muscle. It's just like the gym. You can't go to the gym, lift 5 weights, walk out and be like, why am I not ripped yet? I do that. I'm disappointed every time. But I also know consciously, like, come on, Kevin, you got to put a little more work into this. So anything that's worth it takes time. And you have to build up to that. And you as a leader need to have those expectations on understanding it's going to take a little bit of time here.
and I think this goes back to the very beginning, just defining what success looks like to you and your team. What does success look like to you? Um, you know, as an onboarding manager, I am always going back to looking at all of the metrics and the performance. And if it is low adoption, of course, I am digging into why we're not seeing that adoption.
Hmm.
And I'm always wanting to reach out, like, are there any challenges, preventing you from, you adopting? But again, I think it's very important to define what success looks like to you and your team.
Yeah. And we're going to give you some strategies as we work into this webinar more of things you can use as there's dips and lulls. It's not just going to be like this and we're going to be just level out at perfect. That never happens on a team, right? There's always ebbs and flows. So we're going to continue to give some strategies. So I think this is an important piece here for two elements. Number 7 here, not integrating into the existing workflow. One, I think from a technical standpoint, if BombBomb can fit in some of the technical systems you're using, wonderful. Put it where people are already comfortable. So if you've got an Outlook team, if you're a Gmail team, if you guys use these different systems, let's connect it to those places. The less hurdles that we ask somebody to go through, the more likely they are to do it, right? If they're sitting in their Outlook and they're like, I should send a video, and the BombBomb button is right there that they can click and record, boom. There's no reason they wouldn't. If we're going to now ask them to go to their BombBomb, remember their login and password, remember where the process is, they haven't done it in a month. We're just creating the opportunities for them to say no. I've been recently reading, actually, I have it right here. Mel Robbins, great author. But this is called the Let Them Theory. It's her new book. She's also got one called, I think it's like the 5-second theory of how our brains just automatically start making up excuses for the things we don't really want to do. And her theory in that other book is as soon as you have those thoughts, when you want to do something, go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and do it. And it doesn't give but your team doesn't want to do these things. We don't want to do cold calls. We don't want to do this stuff. So I'm going to find excuses to try to not do them. I don't want to do video right now, right? So make sure you're doing that. Also, use case, it's got to fit within what's beneficial to them as well. If you're talking to a sales team and you're like, guys, we are going to dive into using video and I want you to send internal videos to your team members to get them excited about work. Sure, I love that theory. That's awesome. Let's build team unity. That is not going to make them sales. A salesperson doesn't care. They've got to have it reflect back to what's beneficial to them. So with those use cases, with that why, those KPIs, how we're measuring this that Jenny was talking about a minute ago, it has to integrate into what they want to do. So from like an emotional, psychological standpoint of this is going to bring me success as well as a technical standpoint there. So there's kind of two elements to that. Awesome. So those are the big ones. Jenny, thinking back on those, I know you kind of threw some thoughts in as we were going, but what are the ones that stand out to you as these are the kind of pitfalls I see more of my teams fall into than others? Are there ones that you're like, these are the ones I really think it's important for a team admin to be aware of?
Honestly, what I have been running into recently is just having the confidence to get started.
Mm,
Just have confidence on camera, just to push that red button. That is recently, honestly, it's been a challenge. So,
okay.
overcoming that hurdle.
Okay. All right. So here, throw in chat right now, everybody that's on this webinar. One, if there was one of those pitfalls that stands out as like, yeah, I've seen my team fall into that, throw that in chat. Two, and we can't really raise hands here, but throw a little thing in chat of like, yeah, I have felt that. I have felt that, oh, I don't know if I want to do a video, that lack of confidence. I have felt that kind of pull of, I know I should, but I'm a little uncomfortable doing that. If you're there, I've been there. Trust me. Jenny, you've been there. I mean, everybody's been there. So we're going to talk about this, but I think it's always great for us to just be honest and open with each other and go like, yeah, I've felt that. I don't know the exact number. I think I've got 10,000 some videos in my BombBomb account right now. And last week I was like, I don't know if I want to do a video, you know? So again, it's that ebb and flow. It's that up and down. But if you're there with us, throw it in chat, let everyone know they're not alone in that. Okay. So now that we've got kind of this baseline of some of the things we're trying to overcome and an understanding there, what are some of the specific strategies that we can work on? Number one, and I put this number one for a reason, and Jenny's smiling and nodding as I'm saying this, lead by example. This is the most important element of having a team be successful with video. And we have onboarded hundreds and hundreds of teams into using video. The number one differentiator we can see from success to not success for a team is that they have an admin or a manager who is using video themselves. I know as a salesperson, when I've had to jump into a new system, a new CRM, something like that, as soon as I saw that my manager wasn't doing it, I was like, why do I care? They're making me do something that they aren't even using, that they don't care. Now, is that the right way to think as a salesperson? Maybe not. But guess what? Your team's doing it. You have to be recording videos. Now, it doesn't have to be your exact use cases, that you're using internally as a team leader, right? And I think this is important. And Jenny, I want your 2 cents on this as well. You don't, maybe your use case, let's just use your KPIs. We need to convert more leads. We need better lead conversion. So one of our videos that we are telling our team to use is when a new lead comes in, we send them a video, whether that's an evergreen pre-recorded video or a personal video. You guys decide that. That doesn't mean you as the leader need to record new lead videos. Now, it's great to give them examples of what you want them to do. And I think that's a great strategy in itself. But for this, we want your sales team to see what it's like to be on video, to see that you're still a human. You're not perfect. They can see mistakes. They can see flubs. They can see, oh my gosh, this really is a reflection of who this leader is, right? When Jenny sends me a video, I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally Jenny. That's just her. And so we're building that. We also have found that it's so important for your team to feel what it's like to receive videos. That to me is one of the aha moments with video usage is, oh, interesting. I didn't know this person in this way. And now I see how much more I get to know them than a text email. When you start to realize that, especially as a salesperson, you go, man, if I could just get them to know me more, I think I would get more calls back. Yeah, you will. We've seen it. I promise. So I think these are just some important things. Jenny, what do you add to that? What do you challenge your team admins from a usage standpoint with when you're onboarding your new teams?
Just really create excitement. Just start recording. I can't say it enough. Practice, practice, practice. Yes, we do go over some of those use cases, but I always tell everyone on the team, you have to be aware of who you are recording and sending those videos to. So just keep in mind that, that personal touch, that humanization. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get. But really just invest in it and just keep recording.
Yeah,
So
you've got to show that you have belief in it too. We've talked about why that's important, but you need to show them examples of that. It allows them to receive it, allows them to feel the impact of it. It's going to also allow you to build your internal team champions, and those are hugely pivotal to success. You're going to have you guys kind of know the bell curve, right? I can't really make it with my fingers. That's hard. Um, you're going to have your early adopters, those people that are like, this is cool. I'm all about this. Let's go. Great. Let's lean into those people. Let's allow them to build excitement. Let's allow them to start adopting. They're going to help push internally with those team members too. And when they start seeing success, there is not a salesperson or a team member in the world that it has a metric that they are measured by that sees other people on their team finding success correlated to something, and they're not going to be curious and want to do it. We want that success too, especially on sales teams. We're competitive. You're looking at the dashboards of these things. If they see, wow, Jenny's sending a lot of videos and she's number one on the leaderboard. Oh, that seems like a correlation. I'm going to start doing that. So build those. So here's a quick example of a team leader that we had. You can see this is not a specific use case necessarily that he might be telling his team to do, but a great way to show the impact of video. And I won't even say anymore.
Hey, what's up, Allie? Hope your week is off to a great start this Monday. Was thinking about you and just wanted to send you a quick video to let you know how much I appreciate the work that you do from a content marketing standpoint, in particular, your work with our Inc. Best Places to Work. I thought was great.
So you can see there, it's a minute long video. I won't make you watch the whole thing, but I was sitting here just thinking, okay, we have Slack that we use for internal like chat communication. We have emails. We have all those things at BombBomb. If I get that video, that is so much more powerful, going to make me feel so much different than hey, Kevin, great job on all these projects you're working on. Yes, it's in theory the same thing, but the impact, the depth that that's going to feel for an employee, especially when we're not used to video. I work at a video company, have seen a million videos, and it still goes, wow, they care about me. They're seeing me. They're paying attention to me. If you start doing that internally as an admin, I promise you, one, it's going to build really great team rapport. It's going to build trust within your team. It's going to benefit a lot of those things. And two, they're going to go, wow, this is powerful. I need to start kind of leaning into this more and more. So really powerful. Make sure you're doing that. Lead by example. Now, this is one we're going to expand on a little bit and might spend a little bit of time on because let's have some fun with it. This is something that I think a lot of people, it's easy to miss in business of going, we've got numbers, we've got to hit our this, we've got it by the end of the month, by the end of the quarter, by the end of the whatever. We've all got these deadlines. We've all got these projects. We've all got stuff that we're driving towards. And I think sometimes we forget to make it enjoyable. Does that mean every aspect of work has to be enjoyable to do it? No, totally not. We get that. But in order to get people excited about something new, make it enjoyable. Have you ever heard the term gamify? Gamifying something? Essentially, it's this in a nutshell. It's how do we make this fun? How do we make it like something achievable and like fun, competitive, and those sort of things for our team? We're going to give you some specific ideas, but this is pivotal. If you want your team to lean into something, one, they need to see the benefit of it and know why it's important. And two, it has to be something they're going to enjoy doing. And like we mentioned, and we're going to continue to talk about, not everybody is going to be really excited about video. They're just not. Even if you tell them the benefits, even if you show them the things, there is that practice mentality that Jenny's been talking about that we have to overcome that. So, what are some ways that we can make this fun? One, contests. Easy, low hanging fruit. Let's have some fun with it, right? Now, you can do this in a lot of different ways. I put 3 different bullet points there, but if you've got other ways, throw them in chat. Let us know. Let's get creative with this because I'm sure there's ways that you've done with your team that we have not thought of or done. So, one, individual, right? We can do individual contests of, all right, team of 30 people, we're going to do an award Friday at 4 o'clock. Whoever sent the most videos this week is going to get an award or going to get something to be excited about. So, you can just kind of have each person individually working on their own. A deeper way to do this to build more rapport, more excitement, and really, I think, build the education level of learning from each other is team as a whole. What if you put your whole team? All right, we've got 20 people on our team. By the end of this week, I want 100 videos as a team. If we get to 100 videos, here's what we get. That's a really cool way to start to lean in. You're going to have people that are going to send 10. You're going to have people that might send one. But if that 10 person goes, guys, I'm carrying a lot of weight here. You got to start sending some videos to help me out. I want to get to this reward. Now we're working together. And then guess what? That conversation starts. Yeah, I'm just a little uncomfortable. What are you doing that's working for you? Great. Now they're working together and they're talking about successes and they're finding those opportunities. So, team as a whole can be a really fun one. And then the last one I put there that I think would be really fun is you can call it whatever you want. I put boss battle there. What if you put yourself in that ring too and go, all right, I'm going to give gift cards away at the end of the week here. Everybody that has more videos than what I send this week is going to get a gift card for something or is going to get a reward, is going to get whatever. Or everybody that's got more videos, I'm taking you to lunch on Friday, right? Whatever it may be. It's something fun that they can look forward to. And now you're a part of it. One, it forces you to use it, which is good. We know that's impactful. And two, it's also fun to kind of build that camaraderie with your team, show them that you're a part of it. Nobody wants a leader that's disconnected and doesn't understand what's going on with the team. Now, does that mean you have to send the exact same use cases they are? No. But it's going to push you to go, could I send a video here? Oh, shoot, I'm fifth on the list. I can't afford that lunch. I got to move my way up, right? It just gives that kind of fun way to do it there. So, have you seen that work with your teams, Jenny? These kind of contests of whatever kind of shape and form that might be?
Yes, and it's so exciting. I had a team not too long ago. Before I even came to user training, they had already established a contest in place for just, it was simple. The most videos recorded out of the user by the end of the second training, you get a lunch and it was some gift cards. So they were using video to activate their culture, just adding that extra fun. And I will say with that team, I had 100% adoption by the end of that second training
Well,
because of that contest.
remember when I told you that probably won't happen? Well, there you go, Kevin. You're wrong already. But that's amazing. How cool is that?
Yeah.
But there's so many pieces to that story right there, Jenny, that sits to what we're talking about. They came in and initiated. The
Yep.
manager had the buy-in. They were obviously leading and building that excitement within their team. And that's what got them to the 100% adoption. That's what got them there. It wasn't because Jenny shows up from Bomb and was like, you need to use video. No,
Yep.
we're going to help. We're going to encourage. We're going to be there to support in the ways that we need. But it really needs to drive internally. Now, one thing I wanted to throw out here, if you haven't spent a whole lot of time in your BombBomb account, you have roll-up stats. If you have a team account in BombBomb, we give you all of these stats. Literally, you can choose the time frame, and we'll compare them to the previous time frame of the same dates. Like this could not be easier, could not be handed to you more. The bullet points on the side are the data and the stat points that we give you directly. So, how many videos recorded? What's your face-to-face time, which is a really interesting one. Essentially, that means it's not just, okay, I've sent 10 videos that are a minute long. So that would be 10 minutes of stuff. It's how much of that 10 minutes was actually watched. So if I've sent 10 1-minute videos, but maybe they didn't watch all 100% of every video, I've got 7 minutes of face-to-face time. Interesting, right? How does that affect what's that saved me? How's that helped me in those sort of ways? Percentage of video watched, pretty straightforward. We measure that on every video, and then we'll give you some kind of overviews and summaries of that. Video plays, the amount of plays you're getting on the videos. I think these are things that you can progress deeper into. As obviously we can't have video plays or any of these other stats without videos recorded. But we don't just always want to measure. It's not just sending a bunch of videos. That's not always the win. It's are people engaging and we're starting conversations and those sort of things, right? So you can kind of work down. And when you can do this, you can see the list on the right there. You can see individually, and you can also see as a team. What are we averaging as a team? What are our overall total numbers? So we can do those whole metrics there. One caveat that I actually learned from Justin, but before this is if your team uploads videos, that does count in the videos recorded section. So essentially, videos recorded is any new videos existing in the BombBomb account. So if your people are recording outside and bringing them into BombBomb, that would count as a video recorded, even though they didn't record directly in the BombBomb system. So just one little detail there. Jenny, I know this probably varies depending on team. Is there a stat or a piece of data that you recommend them measuring when they're starting out that you found to be more beneficial from an onboarding perspective? Or do you really allow that to relay based on the KPIs and the goals that they're trying to achieve?
It really depends on the team, and it really, it it's all dependent on what their success is. For some teams, it's how many videos do we record in this amount of time. A lot of them is, that face to face. It really depends.
Okay.
What I have heard is that most teams really look at this metric performance. They like that it's not complex. It's very, it's rolled up, it's very direct, and it's not overcomplicated. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Just easy to digest. They don't have to do a lot to find it. It's easy to look at. It's easy to analyze, and you can see. So, yeah, I mean, I think to sort of answer my own question, I'd probably start with videos recorded. Again, none of the other data works if we don't have videos. So we got to start somewhere. But maybe that's week one challenge. By week 4, week 5, we're analyzing different things. That's ways to change it up and encourage. It's not just about getting videos out. It's about how do we make these videos as effective as possible. So know that this is in there. Also, we do track this on emails. If you use our marketing content and you're sending emails out of BombBomb, we do also give you email results. So just know we've got those. It's more of the opens and the clicks and some of those kind of standard email things, but we will give you those pieces of data if that's something that you're looking for as well. All right, so some other pieces here, and I won't go one by one through all of these, but some different things. I think it's a great opportunity, role playing, bringing into team trainings. I know team members sometimes scoff at that, but here's where I think it can get really fun. And I was joking with Jenny with this. When we were on the sales team, or when I was on the sales team years ago, whenever we do role playing, the first people to always volunteer was, I want to be the customer. Can I be the client? Can I be the person? Because we all know the person we've had to deal with. It was a pain in the butt for whatever reason, and they've stuck in our brains. And this is our opportunity to be like, ha, I'm going to be that person. Great. Have some fun with it. Allow it to bring the characters in. And it's also building the muscle. It's also allowing you to do that. So have some fun with that. The idea of like a video award ceremony. I'm have an acting background, so I'm super excited about the Oscars coming up this week. So this is kind of on top of my brain. But make them fun. Don't just award the top recorder all the time. Don't record the top face-to-face app all the time. Yes, those are things to value because those do bring, the KPIs back. But we have a Slack channel that's called Bloop. And it's whenever you have a mistake on your video, you're just like, oh my gosh. And if you just stop it, save it, post it in that channel. And then it's just funny. It's fun to laugh with each other and realize, oh, we're all making mistakes. We're all having mix-ups. So find those things. Best example of your specific use case, best internal video that was sent to an employee, most fun, funniest video, whatever. Find those other things to reward that people are doing it, that they're doing the activity. And then this is my last point. We've already mentioned a couple of different things with like gift cards, with lunches, with bonuses. I even threw like a day off, right? They can earn some time off or whatever. Make the reward something tangible that people actually want. I've seen this time and time again where teams are like, we ran this contest and nobody did it. And I'm like, oh, well, what were you like offering? And they're like, oh, well, we didn't really tell them. Well, yeah, that's why they don't care because they don't know what they're getting from it. Right? We are competitive. We want something good. So make it something funny. I know there have been some companies I've talked to that have done these really fun, like employee things that are on their desk, like little Legos that you build up. And the more bricks you have, it's like a status symbol in the company. Great. They could win something like that, or they get a little trophy that's on their desk, whatever. Just something that they can like hold up and be proud of and that they actually are looking forward to. So keep that in mind. Anything else you want to add to the kind of idea of just making it funny, Jenny?
I always remind everyone to make it fun as well because, and I tell people all the time, send videos to your friends, send videos to your coworkers, especially if you're new to BombBomb and new to video messaging, um, because it also helps with your confidence. So that's something that I'm hearing more often than not. You know, they don't have the confidence in front of the camera. So I always encourage them to send videos and send silly videos, make it fun. I know Kevin touched on it earlier. Business is very important. But you also have to have fun at the same time. So don't forget
That's
about it.
such a great point, and I'm so glad you brought that up. I used to have an employee that would send me videos about things going on at work, and then be like, "Oh, by the way, I put," because in BombBomb you can put like a video CTA. It's a little button in your video that they can click and link it somewhere. Be like, "Oh, by the way, I saw this video that I thought you'd think was really funny," and it was a video to some YouTube video, or like a link to a YouTube video. And it just made me laugh. Great, I got the business stuff I needed, and it was something that made me laugh. So yes, I think that's such a good point that you can have fun with it in that way as well. All right, number three. We've talked about this a little bit, but let's talk about this. This is massively important. Be specific. You need to narrow down your branded video moments. Now, what do I mean by that? So, we were talking a little bit before we started the webinar here. What is that number? I'm not going to sit here and tell you it has to be a certain number of things. But when we're thinking about that core of the onion, how are we going to get people to adopt? My rule of thumb with trainings, with everything, is no more than three. If we get more than three, it starts to feel overwhelming and we start to get confused. We seem to be able to remember three things pretty easily. So three or under. If you want to come in and go, this is our use case, we're using it for this, that's fine. Let's be specific. It's driving to a KPI, it's driving to something. But one, two, three, somewhere in that, I think is a really important piece. So be specific with what you're doing. Now, how do we think about that? Well, we've got this kind of video moments playbook that I use with a lot of people of how do we evaluate what moments to pick and how should those moments be handled. This is a really cool way to use this, and I'm going to send you guys this slide afterwards as well, so you can review it if you need to, and maybe we can even use an example as we're going through this. But the who, and I'll go through these really quick to just kind of break them out. Who is, am I sending this one to one, or is this a one to many send? Now, what I mean by that is, am I recording this? Hey, Jenny, it's Kevin here with BombBomb. This is personal one-to-one for a one person. Or am I sending this one to a group of people? That's important because I'm going to handle that video a little bit differently as I work through it. So, am I sending it to one person? Am I sending it to a group of people? That's kind of the who. Now, the what feels similar, but it is a little bit different. I can have an evergreen one-to-one video, which means it's still directed to one person in a specific situation, but I don't name them specifically. So evergreen in that what section is a video I can use time and time again. I don't say, hey, Jenny. I say, hey, it is Kevin here with BombBomb. I can't wait to walk you through X, Y, and Z, because that's something that comes up a lot for me, right? So evergreen is I can use it time and time again. One off is I'm recording this video. I'm sending it to Jenny now, and it will probably not be useful for anybody else after this. But it's going to be impactful to her because I'm saying her name. I'm talking to specifics about her situation. The when, I think, is really cool to think about from a management perspective of when are they going to remember to do this, right? So is it triggered by something that's happening? Something happens in the business workflow that triggers them to do the video. Is it something where they're just going to have to block time every week and go, this is my time to record videos? Or is it automated? Is it an evergreen video that's literally built into an automated CRM system or an automated email flow? No right or wrong. It just depends on your situation, right? And then where is kind of where do they record that from? Are they going into the BombBomb web app and recording from bombbomb.com? Is it from an integration or an extension like Gmail and Outlook because you have that built into your email? Is it with a CRM from an automated standpoint? It probably would be if you've got like an email track or an email flow. Or are they just using their phone because you're out and about? You maybe you're a home builder. Maybe you are people that are out on site all the time, right? So let's use that as an example to kind of work through this. We want to do video or home updates on a home. Okay, so let's work through this. Who? The home update? That's going to be one to one. Most likely, because we're talking about somebody's specific home that's being built. Is it probably one-off? Yeah, because when we come back a week from now or 2 weeks from now, the home's going to be different. So this will be a one-off. So this would be I'm recording it for Jenny specifically for this moment. Great. How do I know when to do this? Maybe you time block time where you do your home videos, you drive around to the different homes that you've got in progress and do that. Or maybe it's something that they're already going around to these homes and it triggers them every Friday when I stop by this home. I just have to do this. Cool. That's a great option as well. Probably not going to be automated because we know there's always delays in building a home, right? And then where? I look at that immediately, go probably iOS, Android. They're probably doing it from their phone. They're probably not carrying their laptop around a house trying to record from platform, right? So that's just an example of that and how one way you can kind of break that down. And I'll send this to you. When you narrow down your top 2 or 3, the more of these details you give your users, the more likely they will be to actually go in and do it because we're not leaving it ethereally up in the air for them to figure out from that standpoint. So here's some more things on being specific, but make sure you're narrowing down no more than 3 to begin with and map exactly what they're going to do so they know what to do, when to do it, why to do it. Give them resources. Oh my gosh, give them examples of what you want them to do. Let them digest that and see what that looks like. If you're wanting them to do meeting follow-ups, right? Like an appointment follow-up. Every time they hold an appointment, we follow up with a video. Great use case for video. Cool. Show them what that would look like. Show them how to do that. Give them some bullet points or scripts, whatever you want to provide. I'm a big bullet points guy because I like people to be able to put their own voice in it. Jenny's going to say something very different than I would. That's great. Bring your personality in. But give them those resources. They will be more likely to do it. It's going to help build on that confidence that we were talking about. And then make sure that this activity, that these use cases that we're being specific on are backed by the KPIs that they're trying to achieve. If it's, like I said before, okay, we want you to send a bunch of internal videos and they're a salesperson, they're going to go, why? That's just taking me away from trying to achieve what I'm supposed to be achieving to keep my job. So make sure that that stuff is tied together, and then find that kind of North Star activity metric that we can control. I know, like I love the face-to-face time metric. The hard thing about that is we can't control if people open and watch the video. We do our best. We know it's going to get more engagement than reading it. I can't control how much they watch. I can do my best to formulate this and build this so that it's interesting. People might stop 2 minutes in because or 2 minutes is a bad example, maybe 15 seconds in because their kid spilled something on their lap, right? We have no idea. We can't control those things. So find those kind of metrics that you can control. Jenny, I want to give you space on this because I think this is important. I know you're talking with team admins a ton on this idea, being specific about what you're going towards. What have you seen to be really important, really impactful, with this point in mind?
Well, it does depend on the customer. When I am doing the training, we always determine the use cases before training. And I always ask if they have personal videos that they want to record and provide to the team for thought starters on how and where to send video. And if they don't, that's fine. That's great. We do have industry standard videos that we use. But it is very helpful to establish these use cases from the very beginning especially for the new users, and so that they just start getting comfortable and they have ideas on, how and where they can start recording.
Yeah. And that's a great point too. If you are struggling with what use cases you want to use, with what KPIs to measure, with how to do that, please let us know. We've got so many recommendations depending on what your team is, what department you're in, what role you're in, what industry you're in. We can give you great recommendations on what we're seeing work with other teams, right? I mean, I've mentioned a handful today, but you look at a salesperson, great. A new lead introduction video is a great first strategy. An appointment confirmation, it's going to help your show rates. If you're struggling with show rates, send a video prior to that with the details, with all that stuff, so they know who to expect. They'll be more excited to come. Appointment follow-ups, right? If you're having moments of friction where people are dropping off, maybe that's a point for video. We can talk through all this. We have talked to so many thousands of teams in our years here at BombBomb. We can give you recommendations, I promise. So let us know if that's something you're struggling with. Let us help you. Because if we don't, I guarantee when your contract is up at the end of this year, you're gone. It wasn't helpful for you because we didn't find those things. So if you're struggling, let us help you. Let us guide you in that. We've got ideas, I promise. All right, last one here. And Jenny, this is what I'm really passionate about, but when we were meeting before this and kind of prepping for this, this was a big one. And you just said this is one of the top things that you're seeing teams struggle with right now is building confidence. Jenny, I'm going to ask you this just because you're newer to Bomb Bomb than I am. I've been here for a very long time. So thinking back to my first video feels like ages ago. How was this for you, coming to a video company, being encouraged and challenged to record videos? And if it was easy, that's totally fine too. You don't have to make it what it isn't. But I'm just curious, because that's a little bit fresher for you. What was that experience like?
I tell people all the time, I share my experience because when I came to Bomb Bomb, I was on the struggle bus. And I have used video. I am comfortable in front of people, but I truly struggled. So when people bring this up to me, I love to speak to this because I experienced it myself. And that's why I strongly encourage everyone, just practice, practice, practice. I tell people all the time, send me a video. I will help you or just get on Zoom. I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to leave me, knowing that they're comfortable and they're going to start, adopting video. But it does take time for some people. Everyone is so different. And I tell people that all the time. And again, I just had someone reach out over the weekend and she was like, I am just so afraid to start recording a video. And, I'm thankful that she reached out and I, sent her a few things and I was like, just get on Zoom with me. I will walk through some things and I will help you. I'm here to help you. So yeah, I just can't, everyone experiences it in a different way. And it's not afraid, don't be afraid to reach out to someone or, ask for help or just
Yeah.
send, and again, going back to send those silly and fun videos.
hmm
So,
It's so interesting because I've talked about this so many times over my last handful of years here at Bomb Bomb.
yeah,
I put the number up there, 8 videos, because I think it's important to know. We did a study on this years ago and found that if you can get to 8 videos, you immediately start feeling more comfortable at that point. It starts feeling more routine at that point.
yeah,
So I think you can use that. One, if this is something you're struggling with, know that this is not like a mountain we have to climb. 8 videos is not the end of the world. We can get there quick. It's also really encouraging for your team members if they're struggling with this, if they're having a hard time, go, hey, I know this feels hard right now. It's not going to feel hard forever, right? Just like so many things. The more you practice, the more we do. Let's get to that 8 video mark, and we're going to start to feel a little bit more normal in this. And I think a great strategy to what Jenny's mentioned a couple times is start sending videos internally. Find safe places to send those videos where it's not just immediately, all right, go send them to clients.
yeah.
Create an atmosphere, create opportunities where people can start sending them to feel comfortable and get feedback. And whether that's to you as the manager, whether that's to us here at Bomb Bomb, we're always here for it, whether that's to their friends and family, just people that they feel comfortable with, it's going to make those first initial videos feel a little bit safer. I also talk about this a lot, and I think it's an important one that you lead with as managers, and I've had to lead with as a trainer so many times, is leading with our own vulnerabilities of going, we know there's psychological elements that people want to connect with real people. We all kind of put this like perfection on a pedestal of what we think we have to be in order to record a video. However, there's crazy studies about like buying stuff online, like Amazon. If you see a product that has a perfect 5 stars and a product that has 4.7 star reviews, you are more likely to buy the one with 4.7 star reviews because you feel like it's a little more honest. It feels more real rather than whatever that 5 star is. It's the same with people. We connect with humans, we connect with humanity, we connect with the authenticity, the realness of people, right? So if you put yourself out there and go, yeah, this is who I am, this is what I have to bring, the easiest thing we can be is ourselves. Catherine Finney said that. And I love that quote. It's harder to put on this facade of what we're supposed to be. I think for me, I also lead with some of the things that I'm a little nervous about, right? Like the vulnerabilities I have. I've got a gap in my teeth. I've got these like bags under my eyes when I smile. My hairline's going the wrong way. These are all things that I legitimately feel uncomfortable about. But it is what it is. I bet none of you noticed those things. Or if you did, you're like, oh, they're just part of him, right? They're not things that you're like, oh, I'm not going to trust this guy. So we can lead with those elements as well. Now, I wanted to give you, I know we've only got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to go through these a little quick, but I wanted to give you guys some resources beyond just tactical things you can use here, but things you can actually use to teach your team, help them overcome that potential lack of confidence. The first one here is what I call the steps method. These are like the first 5 things to think about when you're going to record, and just focus on 1 or 2 of them. And it's going to help you feel like you look better. You're more prepared for the video itself. Number 1 is smile. Smiles are contagious. People see a smile, they want to smile. I know you've seen those like laughing chain videos where one person watches somebody laughing and then you just see it kind of grow and grow and grow. They're contagious. Now, don't make a fake smile. People can tell a fake smile. I actually just read a study last week about how mood changes when you see a genuine smile. It doesn't change if you see a fake smile. So think about something happy, but smile at the beginning and end of your video. It's a huge difference maker and easy to do, and also easy to forget if you're feeling nervous. So a great one to kind of tap in on. The time, how long should my videos be? I don't know. 60 seconds or less is my general rule of thumb, especially with new leads, people I don't know. You have to earn the trust. You have to earn that time. So the second point, the longer you've known someone, the longer the video can be. Totally. Yeah. But we've got to make sure that we earn that. If I've got a good relationship with them, if I've got value in the video, my video can go longer than 60 seconds. Otherwise, I try to keep them nice and short in that regard. Eye contact is definitely a new one to learn with this type of video. Why? Because it's so tempting to just sit and stare at myself on screen right now and just look at me and talk like I'm talking to you, but this doesn't feel like I'm talking to you whatsoever, right? So eye contact has to be the camera. Put your camera right about eye level, and that camera lens is our eye contact. Now, the number that they found when they're doing studies in like a person-to-person relationship is 60 to 70% of a conversation should be having eye contact in it. That's kind of the sweet spot. We don't sit there and talk to people like this. That feels crazy. You'd be like, who is this person sitting across the table from me, right? So look at them. That's our home base. We can come grab notes. We can think about things. We can come back to the camera. Very human, very natural. So don't feel like you have to be stuck to it. Personalized. Jenny actually did this when we started the webinar. She's got it right there, right? You can use a phone app, you can use a whiteboard, you can use a sticky note, I don't care. Something visual that you can hold up at the beginning of your video. You can see this one says, "Hi, Carol." If you put somebody's name in there, guess what? They're going to absolutely want to know what you're saying about them, right? If I had, "Hey, Paul," on my thing, Paul Arrington, Paul Fabiano, who are in this meeting right now, would go, "What's this guy saying about me? What's he talking about?" Right? Curious. I have to know. So use that. Hold it up for the first few seconds. "Hey, it's Kevin here with Bomb Bomb. Hey, I just wanted to touch base with you about," and then you keep going with your video. You don't have to sit there and hold it the whole time. I did put the 2 apps on there. If you want an app for your phone that you can talk with your team, make it big on iPhone, large text on Android. And then this is the last one. The of the steps method is SWIFT. And no, it's another acronym in an acronym. It's a little overkill, but we're going with it. SWIFT stands for "So What's in It for Them." The whole idea of this is if we stop thinking about ourselves and start thinking about the recipient, I promise you the value will be there. If I'm sitting here going, "What do I need out of this video?" then I'm thinking about me the whole time. And it's going to make me more self-conscious and less likely to do this and not beneficial. If I'm thinking about Jenny and thinking about why does she need this video, it will be valuable to her. And that authenticity, that realness, that those human elements will come out and it will be natural. So use this as a few things. Maybe you focus on 1 a week as a challenge for your team and go, "We're going to focus on our smile at the beginning. I want to see every video with a little smile at the beginning of the video," right? You can do that. The other thing I do want to talk to real fast at the end here is some of the technical components, because if we don't look good on a video, if we don't think we look good, guess what? We're not sending that video. That's just not happening. So what are some of the tips and tricks? This is number 1, front face lighting. You've got to have lighting in front of you. If you don't have lighting in front of you, you will look blacked out. You will look shadowy. You will not look good. In fact, let me see. I'm going to turn my light off. Look at the difference in that. I just have a cheap ring light from Amazon. It's nothing fancy, right? I look shadowy, I look gross, I look tired, I look all these things. And I'm like, "Oh, dang, look at that guy. Now I'm ready to send that video, you know?" So have front face lighting. I don't care if it's a window, a light, whatever. Especially if you're like me that have lighting behind you, you've got to counteract that because it'll make you look so much better. If you're in a noisy place, use headphones. Don't be embarrassed about that. I use AirPods all the time. If you've got a headset like this picture, I sent thousands of videos with a headset on. Not a single person ever went, "Why do you have a headset? That's weird." No one cares. If they can't hear you, that's bad. That immediately makes it a bad video. If they have to struggle to understand what you're saying and the value you're trying to get across, you're missing out. So if you need to use it, if you can shut a door and you don't, great. If you can't, if you're outside and there's wind, use the headset, use the microphone. It will make a world of difference. Background is one we get questions about all the time. Jenny does an amazing job of just always having these delightful fresh flowers behind her. I don't know how she constantly curates that, but don't feel like you have to overthink it. Put some things that give people a glimpse into who you are. That's my number one thing. Things that will create curiosity, allow them to get to know you a little bit more, but don't worry about it that much. If you're not standing in front of piles of trash, no one's going to really care. They should be looking at you for 45 seconds. You guys have been watching me for an hour, and I bet most of you have not really detailed into my background. Maybe I'm like, looks like a nice kitchen, right? That's probably the extent of it. So don't overthink it a ton. And then this is a big one for me, and it's what I'll finish with. These are, again, things that you can train your team on or use yourself. Dress on your confidence. If you're in a slouchy sweatshirt and a hoodie and you feel like you're just sunk into that, guess what? We've got bad posture. We're not feeling good. We're not conveying confidence. If you feel great in a hoodie, great. Record videos in a hoodie. I don't care. It's about what do you feel good in. When I put a blazer on, I immediately sit up straighter. I don't know if it's just the way they're sewn, if it's the way they fit. I immediately sit up and feel more confident. So if I'm in a situation where I need to convey that and I need people to see that and feel that from me, I'm going to do that. But find what makes sense for you. If you're not a dress person, don't put on a dress. If you're not a huge makeup person, don't put on makeup. Like find what works for you. Don't feel like you have to do it for the other person. Do it so that you feel better. That confidence, I promise, will come across on camera there. Now, I didn't leave a whole lot of time for Q&A and that sort of stuff at the end because we have not been getting a whole lot. Justin's been killing it with the questions that have been coming in. I'll leave you with this quote and a few resources since we're at our time here. This is one of my favorite quotes in the entire world from Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. They will never forget how you made them feel. Video lets you make people feel something. That's the power of this, is that we want to work with people. We want to feel that difference. So use it with your team. Build them up, build that trust, build that connection. Then they will feel safe to use video outwardly, and it will help reach those KPIs that you're being specific about, reach those goals. So the last thing I want to leave with is kind of what's next for any of you out there. I'm going to share links for this in the follow-up email. We have resources and courses here for teams specifically. They're not always public facing because not everybody's a team, but we have a team admin course that I'm going to send to you because I want you all to know, oh my gosh, if I need help from a technical setup standpoint, if I'm still struggling with some of that, we've got an on-demand course you can jump on and learn from whenever you need. Team member, if you are trying to send something to your team members to help them get their account started, we've got a course that works for that. So we will send you those links in the follow-up email with the recording and everything. Keep your eyes open for both of those. If you're sitting here and going like, oh, I don't even have a Team Bomb account, totally fine. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you've taken some things away from this and heard some of the power of what video could be for your team. If you're curious, we've got awesome options, again, for you to kind of choose that adventure. Do you want to demo and talk to somebody? Scan that QR code on the left. Do you want to just jump in and try it out and play with it? Scan that trial one on the right there, and you can kind of learn what BombBomb is and just learn the basics there. You can even do both. Maybe I want the trial and I want a demo. Guess what? No problem. We can figure that out for you. So let us know what you need. Let us know how we can serve you. We care deeply about all of you as our admins, as advocates for BombBomb, and want to be here to serve you and help you in that regard. So with that, I know we're a couple minutes long, but Jenny, I want to throw it to you one more time. If you've got to narrow down, like, man, I don't want them to leave without knowing this or without hearing this piece again, what's that one thing that you're going, if you're trying to get adoption on your team, here's what you do.
Ask for help. I'm here. I'm always here to help. I can't say it enough. I have people tell me all the time, I thought that was a stupid question. Ask for help. I'm here to help. I'm here for you to learn and understand how awesome BombBomb is and how you can add value to your everyday business. So, yes, that's what I can. Yeah.
I love that. So don't hesitate to use BombBomb as a resource. We are here to help you all as team admins achieve the success that you want. We're here for that. Demetra, I do see your question. I promise I will not leave without answering that. We'll get to that in just a sec. So use us as a resource. The other thing, the thing I want to lean in more than anything is use it. Use the product, lead by example. As a team admin, one, it's going to help you understand what are some of the things that maybe your team is going through and adopting this new product. It helps you be preemptive on being able to answer those questions and overcoming maybe the nervousness or whatever you might be feeling. It's going to allow you to help your team through that a lot more seamlessly. And it's going to show them you're leading by example. You're using videos, you're building up your numbers. They can receive those videos from you. Find ways to use them internally, like that example I showed you earlier. I just really believe 100% it will make all the difference there. So if you need to jump off here, totally understand. We're a few minutes long. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. Hopefully this gave you a nugget or two that you can use. Please reach out to us, support@bombom.com. We would love to serve you in that way, answer questions, answer tickets, do those different things. So don't hesitate to do that. Demetra, the first question you asked is with Lofty CRM. I'm going to kind of throw it to Justin and then answer the second part because he is going to be much more of an expert on that. Oh, there you go. Yes, we do. There's a link for it, Demetra, right in the chat there. Justin just shared a link. We do integrate with Lofty, so you can kind of look at what all of our integrations work differently. So there, I can't say, oh, this is exactly how it's going to be, but use that link there. That'll give you a guide on how to do that. Where can I find some training? Great question. Well, one, you're here. So that's a good first step, right? I'm also going to I'm just going to pull my web browser over here and show you a couple of different places. So support.bombom.com is our knowledge base. So this is really good for if you have technical questions, you've got a specific thing you're trying to figure out. How do I record this video? How do I do this? Guess what? This is an amazing place you can go to find articles, find videos. I'll even click into one of these just to show you kind of, okay, video banners. How do I put a video banner in my account? Awesome. Here's a whole thing with snapshots. Look at that handsome guy in there too, that walks you through how to put video banners and stuff. So you can go in and find anything. I think there's like 300 articles in there or something crazy. So there's a lot. I promise you'll find something in there. The other one that I always like to talk about a lot as well. So that was support.bombom.com. This is training.bombom.com is kind of our on-demand learning center. This is where those courses I talked about, those team admin courses and things, they live in here. But we've got getting started courses. Now, these courses can range anywhere from, I think our shortest one is like 10 minutes long. It's a couple steps to there's one that's an hour long, just depending on what you want to learn. But we've got stuff here, how to build confidence on camera. Great. You want to learn that and do it on your own time? Here's a course here.
I
How do
think
I
you're in a, sorry to interrupt you, Kevin.
Yeah,
You're
you're
in a
good.
Windows specific
Oh my gosh.
screen share.
Thank you, Justin, for interrupting me. You're a gentleman and a scholar. There we go. Now can you guys see some things?
Yes.
All right. So this is BombBomb Studios. This is training.bombom.com. So this is the one that's going to have like the courses that you can come in and click on. Now you will have to create a separate login for this, just so you know. It's not using your BombBomb login. You'll just like any university or academy or whatever, you'll have to create that separate login. But you can come in here and go through feature specific courses and learn something specific. You can learn kind of strategy stuff, getting started. We've also got, how to increase your video engagement, email open rates. There's stuff. There's a whole online acting course that I built from my acting experience of how to represent yourself well on camera. There's lots of stuff on here. So this is training.bombom.com. I'm even going to share this in here in the chat. And then the other one, the one that I was talking about first was support.bombom.com. This is our knowledge base here. So this is what an article would look like where you can come in. There's steps on how to do it. There's screenshots. There's all sorts of different things there. So you can come in and find that. And I will go ahead and copy this one over so you can click on this and open it up. Maybe just save that in your browser so you've got both of those. Those are some great places you can go for resources. I know for me, I like to go try to find my own solutions before I reach out to anybody. Of course, if you need us, support@bombom.com is our customer care team. Send a ticket in. Then let us know what you need help with, and we can get you pointed in the right direction, get you the resource that we need. So hopefully that was a very long-winded, kind of clunky way to answer your question with the bad screen share. But I think we've kind of answered all of those other things. If there's any other questions, throw them in chat. I'll give it another minute here while we just kind of sit and thank you all for your time. I really appreciate you. Being a part of the BombBomb family is something that we value and we don't take lightly. We love that you trust us to walk through this journey with you. It means so, so much. Justin, thank you for being a rock star. Thank you for letting me know I was sharing the bad screen. Thank you for answering all the questions, bringing that tech support knowledge. Thank you for the way you serve our clients. You're amazing. Jenny, couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the way
Thank
you're
you.
serving our clients and the information you brought here. It's been so wonderful to have you here. And I love the elements you brought. Thank you for being a part of this.
Of course.
With that, we're 9 minutes over. Thank you all. Demetra, it looks like you might have missed the link for Lofty. Let me see if I can copy that, and I will share it one more time, unless Justin already did. Nope. Oh, he did. Gosh, Justin's too fast. He beat me to it. I'll leave this up and just keep it live for one more second. But thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Keep your eyes open for our monthly deep dive webinars that we do every month. And we'll be doing these team admin ones on kind of a quarterly basis. So keep your eyes open for those as well. If you need anything, reach out. We appreciate you. Have an amazing Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye, everybody.